What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to day 0 of Debate Kingdom, right here on TMG, the heart of debate. I am the host with the most, Matty G, coming at you live this evening. Um, well, let's put it like this: what we're doing tonight, we've got, as you can see, a speed round gauntlet. Uh, Mr. Nico decided to see if he's got the biggest balls uh, of the nerd fights. Basically, he put out a challenge, saying if anybody wanted to see him, and as you can tell, there were plenty of people to take him up on that argument. So we decided what we would do is instead of having him go one on one against somebody, we would have him go one on one with somebody. That's right. If you've ever watched me debate, you know I usually pick up my points in the speed round, and so I was like, let's run him through the gauntlet. I'm like I said, I am your host with the most, Matty G. I will be hosting and running time tonight. So I'm not judging. 3 other people have taken the luck draw of that. We'll go to the man sitting to my right. That would be Rubear. Rubear, what's up, homie?
What's going on, y'all? If y'all don't know, my name is Amaru, but I always go by Rubear here. And get used to this pretty face. You'll be seeing a lot of it in the next couple days. But I'm ready to go.
Ooh, ooh, damn, he's not even competing. He's coming with that fire. We're gonna go down and across from him to the Raptor Master, or one of the admins around here at TMG. Jonathan, what's up, brother?
What's up, Manny? What's up? Very good. Recognize these friendly, beautiful people around here and around me, next to me right here, though. And let me see, they can talk the talk and walk the walk, as the people will say around here. So, I can't wait for this speed round of questions. I don't know how this is going to work, but we'll see.
Well, when we get to that, I can absolutely answer that question. And we have one other judge in the panel because, we can't end it in a tie. He is Jerry the Slicer, or should we say the current TMG Star Wars Trivia Champion. Jerry, what's up, brother?
What's up? I'm excited. Hear these people talk about geeky stuff. I love the geeky stuff, so I'm gonna be tough on them too.
That's always good. Most people around here may not know Jerry, but Jerry is a general in the Action Army. Salute, yes, sir. Um, so is Mr. Jonathan himself. So we got to salute all of them. But no, that's not why we're here. We're here to hear some people debate. So the speed round works like this: you can have a 45-second opening, a 30-second rebuttal, and a 20-second closing. Use the 45 seconds to lay your groundwork. Wait till your rebuttal to hit your opponent. You have your strength. You'll go first on that. It's a first to best at 2. So everybody has predetermined categories, and I have some admin specific categories if we get there. If not, well, then you're done. First to 2 points wins. That the loser will be removed, and the next challenger will be put in the ring. There are no extensions because, well, let's get this done, shall we? Gentlemen, Comic Book Lad and Nico, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Judges, are we ready?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
All righty. So, since Nico threw this call out, we decided he'd go first. And his strength is Star Wars. So, guys, the question I will read twice so you hear it. It is, what creature or species, whichever you choose, in the Star Wars universe would you want as a friend? Again, what creature/species in the Star Wars universe would you want as a friend? Nico, you got 45 seconds when you start talking.
The species that I would choose to have as a friend in Star Wars has no name, but they are adorable. They are puppet form like. They are the Yoda species. They are force sensitive from the earliest of ages, and they have a lot of good in them. They follow the light side of the force a lot, and they all. The older they get, the more wisdom they have to offer. And I want to grow as a human being, so I would obviously want to have that wisdom as I get older as well. They are adorable at any age. They are very self-reliant. They know how to take care of themselves, and they can heal you if you get hurt as well, which is a plus because I don't have to pay for healthcare then. I will yield the rest of my time here.
Time. You're at time anyways. All righty. So, comic book lad, who do you want as your best friend? 45 seconds when you start talking.
The creature that I would like as my best friend in the Star Wars universe is the creature that is synonymous with loyalty, and that's the Wookiees. I'd love to have a Wookiee, a big furry friend, not only someone who can protect me, because I don't know if you know this, I'm not as tall as a Wookiee. I'm not as strong as a Wookiee, but I think we could have a nice counterbalance with each other. They've shown time after time that they're loyal. Unlike other creatures, they live quite a long time. And not only that, it's something where you can help grow together. I'd have to learn a new language, to be able to communicate with them. I think that's something good that we can grow together as a friend, as a friendship. That's the reason why I've chosen Wookiee as the person I want to be as my best friend.
All right. Coming in at the clock. Gentlemen, you'll have 30 seconds to rebut each other. Nico, 30 seconds when you start talking.
Wookiees take up too much space, and their language is harder to learn than a Yoda species language. Like, they're still talking in basic, even though it's backwards, so it's easier to learn their cadences and whatnot, and you can communicate with them more easily. And they don't take up as much space. Like, you can literally store them in a suitcase or on a pet carrier if you need to save money on travel. Whereas the Wookiee takes up 2 seats on an airplane, if not 3, which is always complicated. You want some easy travel with your friends, and it's harder to do that with a Wookiee than with a Yoda.
Time. Grant, 30 seconds.
I don't want my friend to be restricted by size and everything. I don't care if they're big or small. To me, that's completely irrelevant. You want to stuff your friend in a suitcase? That's not really a good friend. My friend, we can be born at the same time and grow up and grow old together. You'll be dead by the time that your creature even hits puberty. And the fact of the matter is, he'll outlive you like 10-1, which basically means essentially you're gonna have the same lifespan as a pet. So he's pretty much just gonna view you as one of his pets. You aren't gonna be best friends. You aren't gonna be equals.
All right, gentlemen, 20 seconds. Wrap up this first round.
Grant says a Yoda will outlive me, to which I say, who cares? And also, Wookiees, you said, are loyal, but I want a Yoda so that they will tell me if I'm wrong, because they have that life experience, that life wisdom that they can pass on to me. I will learn stuff from them. I feel like a Wookiee would just tell me what I want to hear, and I would end up making a bad decision. Like
Time.
Chewbacca never tells Han not shoot.
Time. Gotta get your points across. Comic book lad, 20 seconds. Wrap it up.
A best friend is a companion. What you're looking for is a teacher or a mentor. That's not talking about someone who wants to be your best friend. If you want to talk about someone who wants to be your mentor, your answer would work. A best friend is someone you can grow together, someone you can learn together with and grow. And as I said, everything that you're saying is great. If you're looking for a teacher, I'm not looking for a teacher. I'm looking for a best friend. I'm looking for a wingman. I'll be his wingman.
Time.
You'll be the new Han Solo.
Time.
Both couldn't get our Han Solo clothing.
So we have to forget. Yeah, we could not include Han Solo in this debate. Sorry, I yelled time before that. Guys, I said this was going to be rapid and it's going to be quick. Since he's a Star Wars champ, Jerry, lay it on me. Who gets your point and why?
Okay, so I'm actually going to go with Comic Book Lad, and the reason being is he made some statements that, while not being correct, Nico never corrected him in. He wanted to grow with his friend, and even though Yoda and the Wookiees had about the same lifespan, Nico never said anything about that. So I would actually go with Comic Book Lad.
All right, we got 1 point for Grant. Rubert, hit me, brother.
Yeah, Nico, I like the whole wise argument, but when he hit you with being equals, that kind of took it from me, and you didn't get anything back. So best friend compared to mentor, I got to give it to Grant.
All right, so Grant goes up 1-0. Jonathan, your point doesn't count, but let's lay it on me. Just give me the short and sweet. Who gets your point?
I would have had the same answer. I would have given it to Grant.
All right.
Nicky.
I personally agree. I like the whole. Just my 2 cents real quick on it would have been the question is best friend, not teacher. Grant kind of laid that on him, but let's keep going, shall we? Let's go.
In my
to
defense,
Grant's
a lot of teachers have
strength.
been good friends to me. I'm just saying.
That's true. You should have used that. But you know what? You should have led with that, homie. Let's jump into the fandom of Doctor Who. I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna repeat the question twice, and I'm gonna repeat it in 2 different ways each time. Okay? It is in classic who is the best doctor? In classic who is the best doctor? Or who is the best doctor pre Christopher Eccleston? Who is the best doctor pre Christopher Eccleston? Comic Book Lad. You got 45 seconds when you start talking.
All right, before I can really answer that, I've got to define what the best is. I'm talking about someone who's iconic. When you think of the Doctor, you think of this person. I'm talking about number 4. I'm talking about Tom Baker. We're talking about his ridiculously long scarf, not shaft. My apologies. Do you want a jelly baby? Like, this is a guy that had the longest run. He was the one that people grew up with. He's the one that he has the first one that has a really distinct look that people still to this day want to emulate. He's one of the only ones that have come back in modern Who because of how good he is. So that's the reason why I've picked the best of the 2 Bakers, number 4, Tom Baker. Good.
Okay, and he is going to give up his last 15 seconds. Nico, do we go to the admin question or is this your time? You got 45 seconds when you start talking.
This is going to be really embarrassing, but my plan was to get the Star Wars question right and then just forfeit this question so we could go to the admin question. And I have no idea about anything regarding Doctor Who other than who plays a few doctors. So, congratulations, Grant. You're going to the next round. I forfeit this question.
Wow. Okay. That was unexpected.
I'm not even going to waste your time trying.
Okay.
I don't want to say a word salad that makes no sense. I'm not going to try. I don't watch Doctor Who. I don't care about it. No offense, Grant. I'm not going to try.
But that was sarcastic.
Okay. I guess that's a 2-0 knockout for Grant. Nico, obviously hang out. We'll be back to chit chat after we move on. Next, give me a thumbs up if you want to go to best of 4. I'll pull one from each of their categories and 2 of the admin once if you guys want, just to do something.
Yeah, I don't care either
Give me a
way.
thumbs up if that works.
I just want to play,
Whatever you
man.
want. Yeah.
Jerry says yes. Jonathan?
Yep.
All right. So, I guess that what we will do is I will jump in. I like this question personally. I was hoping we were going to get to it. So, most iconic villain in Doctor Who. Again, most iconic villain in Doctor Who. Grant, you got 45 seconds when you are ready.
Nope. Sorry, my screen just got knocked down.
That's okay. Jerry just disappeared too.
All right, when you think of iconic, you think of someone who has the presence either equal to or better than a Doctor, and that is the Master. That is the Doctor's lifelong friend, sometimes ally, sometimes enemy. Always interesting, but you cannot have one. They are two halves of a coin. He's the most iconic, even though he can change his face. And his body and his personality, the core of what makes him who he is still there, and that's the part that's iconic. There's other things that look the same and don't really do anything different, but the fact of the matter is that every single time that the Doctor evolves, his greatest nemesis, his greatest enemy evolves with him, and sometimes he gets to beat him, sometimes he gets killed by him. You just never know with a Doctor, with a Master.
So we have the Master, Nicky. Who is the most iconic Doctor Who villain? 45 seconds when you start talking.
All right, as in many cases when it comes to time travel, the most villainous person to the time traveler is the time traveler himself. So I would have to say that Doctor Who is the most iconic villain of the entire series because he is his own worst enemy. His mistakes are there's nothing that any of his enemies can do that are going to have the same impact that one of his own mistakes can do. This is one of those things that you see all across everything. Don't mess with the timeline. If you watch The Flash, don't mess with the timeline. If you watch with Legends, don't mess with the timeline. You can't mess with the timeline and then expect to be a hero. When you mess with the timeline, things go wrong. And I'll concede my time.
All right. Leaving 10 seconds on the board. Grant, 30 seconds, rebut. Why do you think the Doctor is not his own worst enemy?
Because he's not. Doctor Who isn't. There actually was a character that took all the worst traits and everything that was bad about Doctor Who and wrote in one. That was called the Valeyard, which is not who you're arguing for. Doctor Who is not his own worst enemy. He's saved so many more people than he's ever hurt. The Master has only killed. He's took over the Earth a number of times. The Doctor's saved the Earth a number of times. I mean, there's literally a balance. Good versus evil. Two halves of the coin. Good, bad. You're arguing that both sides are good and bad, and that's just simply not the case because they already had one and it was called the Valeyard.
All righty, Nicky. 30 seconds. Why is the Master the Doctor's greatest enemy?
Well, the Master isn't the Doctor's greatest enemy. The greatest enemy of the Doctor is himself. You said it yourself. He can change form. He can change shape. He can turn into another body. He can turn into a woman if he wants to. The Doctor is the greatest enemy. If he's not meddling with the timeline, the Master doesn't even get involved. The Doctor is the only thing in this universe. He's the nexus point. If the Doctor doesn't exist, then all these enemies of his don't exist. So the world would be better off without Doctor Who. I'm sorry. That's my time. You're good.
And that's time. Yeah, you were at time anyway, so we're good. Grant, wrap up this round.
You're arguing who's his greatest enemy. It isn't the question. It's who's the most iconic villain. Iconic villain. That's the question. You're arguing about whether he's good or not. The most iconic villain is the one who's been there with him from the very beginning, who he cannot properly defeat, who has killed him, who he's killed, who he loves, who he hates. There is only one answer in that, and that is the Master. So much so that they even brought him back in the new series after his 5th region arc.
All right, Nicky. 20 seconds.
All right, fine. I'll go with what you said. Villain. There is not a more villainous face in this world than Matt Smith. There is not a more villainous person, a more villainous accent in this world other than David Tennant. These guys are villains. They're British, they're bad, they're villains. I'm telling you, these are the worst people in the world. Doctor Who, you're a bastard. I don't like you.
Time. I really wish I'm gonna give the judges a second to collect their thoughts. I kind of wish I had debated this with Grant because my answer would have been Deveros or the Daleks, whichever you want to choose. One could lead into another, but you know, great debates by both of them. Jonathan, who gets the first point?
I will give it to Nicky. Actually, he just put a point right here that the Doctor himself is his worst enemy, and even most of the stuff he did good, but also did cost something for most not so good though. So I had to go with my point with Nicky.
The question.
Yes.
All right. Jerry, and who gets your point?
I'm gonna actually go with Comic Book Lad. Nicky, to me, didn't make a good enough argument of why he was a villain, and Comic Book Lad at least mentioned that.
All righty, so we have a 1-1 tie. Amaru, buddy, who gets the point?
Nicky, I like what you tried to do there, but it was iconic villain, not own worst enemy. And when Grant got you with that, he kind of put the nail in for me. So I'm going with Grant.
All right, so we got a 1-0 to Grant. All righty, let's just jump straight into Nicky's strength, which is DC. All right, gentlemen, we know how the time works. What's the best season of Arrow? Again, what's the best season of Arrow? And Mr. Arsenal or Mando, I don't know what to call you. If there's a baby Yoda wandering around your room, you need to present it. If not, you got 45 seconds on the clock.
Okay, the best season of Arrow is by far season 2. You get the introduction of Black Canary. You start to see Roy Harper come in as Arsenal. You have the Mirakuru serum. You have Slade Wilson as the villain. He kills Oliver Queen's mother. You can't get more villainous than that. So that is the best season of Arrow by far. It ends with an epic fight between Arrow and Deathstroke on a rooftop. You can't get any better than season 2 of Arrow. I'm sorry. That is the measuring mark, and they were never able to overpass that season 2. It's incredible. As I said before, Black Canary, Nyssa Al Ghul, all these characters that are introduced. You even get an episode with the Huntress. The battle between Arrow and Deathstroke, some of the best fight choreography that we have on Arrow. Arrow is a great series, top to bottom, but season 2, we were able to pass that.
Alrighty. Grant, what's the best season of Arrow?
The best season of Arrow is the first season. It gives you the full introduction. It's the re-emergence of this character. It's a reinterpretation, a retelling. You get a sense from the first episode exactly how the tone's going to go for the rest of it. They set a tone and they kept it throughout the entire thing. It was a very small knit group, and that's when Arrow was at its best. You get introduced to obviously the titular character Arrow, the relationship with Felicity, which goes on for the entire season. everything about that was set. The cinematography in that first season was phenomenal. The budget was the highest that it had ever been, so it looked better. They had more time to do storyline. There was nothing that you could really fault the first season for, and it also had a fight with a baby on a rooftop.
All right, so we got season 1 and season 2. These are both great seasons in my opinion, but Nicky, tell the judges in 30 seconds why Grant's season 1 isn't the better of the two.
Arrow season 1 is great, but the reason why it isn't better is because the actors haven't come to their own yet. You argued that the tone stays the same throughout the episodes. That's actually not true. That show started out as a gritty crime drama. By episode 100, there's a freaking space battle in Arrow. So they don't keep the same tone. They evolve as the show goes on. And season 2 is really when the universe started to expand, when the show started to expand. You got heroes like Black Canary, Sarah Lance is the Black Canary, Roy Harper coming into his own as Arsenal, and then the end of the season is
30 seconds goes fast on it, guys. Grant, tell us why Nicky chose wrong with season 2.
Because season 2 missed the core point of it. It was Arrow. It started introducing people like, I mean, you got Arsenal in there, who was probably the most worst portrayed actor in the entire thing that I've ever seen. You've got everything about that's just trying to do what one did, but more. More is not better. It did more, yes. And when I was talking about the tone, I was talking about the tone of the first season. It said it. Tonally, season 2 was all over the place, where you got people thinking about ghosts and different drugs, and now you've got an army, and then you got someone who didn't know how to fight before that takes a couple of boxing lessons. Now all of a sudden can start kicking ass in a tunnel. No, ridiculous.
So, gents, I called time before he called it ridiculous. So scratch the word ridiculous out of your notes.
Oh, great! Now my whole argument's gone.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
He knew why.
No,
he knew why.
Yeah. No, you guys are good. Sorry, I was gonna jump through my notes and figure out the next question because now I've got a whole bunch of them. All right, Nicky,
got away.
20 seconds. Wrap it up.
So it's me, right? Okay. So you said the Laurel in the boxing lessons with season 2. That was season 3. So Arrow season 2, it's the best season. You get the Flash introduced on there. You see him get struck by lightning in season 2. The answer isn't why it's the best Arrow season. It's why it's the best Arrow season, not why Arrow is the best in that season. Season 2 is the best season of Arrow because it's the first time that we get to see the universe expanded into what it is today.
Time. All right. So Nicky says that his is the best because the world is expanding. Grant, tell us why season 1, when we first meet Oliver Queen, is the best.
It's the best because it's the core. You've got the small team. You've got Arrow doing missions from the book. What Nicky's answering is what is the best season in the Arrowverse, not the Arrowverse. It doesn't matter how much it's expanded. It's season 1 focuses solely and simply on his mission. It's very small. It's very tight knit. It's the perfect little group that comes together and does everything he needs to do. And he's brutal as in it. Trust me, it is the best.
Woo! Season 1 and season 2. These are some of my favorites. Let's go with Amaru. Buddy, who gets this point?
This one was a little closer to me, but I think I am going to go with Grant due to the fact that he did more than just list who was on the show, but gave me more reasons. I like Nicky's universe expansion argument, but I wanted more from that. Grant gave me more about why and not just who.
All right, so we got a 1-0. Let's go to Jonathan. Jonathan, who gets the point?
I think for me, both very good arguments by Nicky and Grant, but I had to go take my answer points to Grant actually, because he put up a very argument right here why when Arrow that is best friend here and to make things a little small right here and it'll contain, so I had to give my point to Grant.
All right, so Grant gets the 2-0 lead. Jerry, my buddy, just out of curiosity, who'd have gotten your point?
I would actually went the opposite. I would have went with Nicky. To me, he explained why it's the best in the actual whole Arrow season, the world building and all that. So I would have went with Nicky.
All right. Well, that's why we have 3 judges, so we don't have a split decision. So, does Grant get the knockout, or does Nicky take him to the next question? I guess we'd have to go best of 5, gentlemen. I'm sorry, I can't count tonight. I do apologize. It is, a little late, but that's okay. So we're gonna actually jump into our friend Chris Diaz's question, and we are going to bring up the Wizarding World, because who doesn't love a little spell binding? Wave our wands. You can take that joke however you want. And my question for you guys is, and what you're going to do is I will read the question twice, and when you have your answer, you will say your name. And that will determine who goes first. All right, guys. What is the most heartbreaking moment in the Harry Potter films? Again, what is the most heartbreaking moment in the Harry Potter films?
Grant.
Okay, Grant's going to go first. Grant, go ahead.
Do you want me to start, or do I just say what mine is?
Yeah, just say your answer.
In the death of Severus.
All right. So the death of his stepdad, or godfather, however you want to call it. Nicky, when you get your answer, say it. What'd you say?
Oh, my answer is the death of Sirius Black.
No, Grant said that one.
No, he said Snape.
No, I said Severus Snape.
Yeah, that's why I corrected you. That was his father, not his godfather.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, you glitched out a little. Sorry, my bad. All right, so we have 2 deaths here: the death of Snape and the death of Sirius. Sorry.
Black.
Yep. Grant, 45 seconds.
The death of Severus, it was the most emotional and the most moving, because we had all the movies going up to it, and all the books going up to that very end, not knowing exactly where he stood, was he a friend, was he a foe, sort of thing, and realizing in his last moments that he was always the whole time there, just trying to help and protect Harry. It's not only a heartbreaking scene because of that, but it's also, you get to feel a little bit of the guilt that Harry felt because of judging him from how he was, how the films and the books perceived him. You fell into that, and you believe that he turned his back on him, that he was this bad guy, when in fact he was the Trojan horse that was trying to save everyone, and he gave his life for that cause.
Time. Sorry, give me just a second, Nicky. I'm getting questioned out the wadoodly here. I'm having a little fun. All right. So Subrath just heard. He went, "Wait a minute. Why question of 5? Because damn it, we're having a little fun. We came here to hear a little debate, so that's what we're gonna do." Nicky, 45 seconds.
Okay, so the reason I chose Sirius Black was because Sirius Black was the first person that Harry actually connected with. That was his family. That like he knew that he had somebody out there that was an adult that was looking out for him. And initially, he thought that he was the bad guy. And then when he found out, no, he's looking out for him. He's his family. He connected with him. So when Sirius Black dies, that's somewhere that's smack dab in the middle of the franchise, and it's a low point for Harry. There's not much victory in the movie that Sirius Black dies. And I can't mention his now, right? Yeah. So I can see my time.
Okay, then. So we have the death of his protector and the death of his godfather. Grant, 30 seconds when you start talking.
Bless me. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks.
Holy crap.
Excuse me.
while that death was tragic because that was the first, as Nicky said, he was right. That was the first person who connected with him. That's completely nothing to 2 years later when he's formed other bonds and he's already gone through that heartbreak. When Snape dies, this things have already happened to him, so it's just piling up more and more and more and more to the point where he can't handle it. Your one was tragic. It was just a little early on. It gave him time to potentially get over this. He couldn't get over the fact that Snape died. That was too much for him, and it nearly broke him.
All right, Nicky, 30 seconds. Tell us what's going on.
So the reason I picked Sirius Black over Snape was because Snape's death was amidst a victory. And part of Snape's death was after realizing that he died, that he was always on his side. He thought that both of these characters he thought was his enemy. But the thing with Sirius Black, when Sirius Black dies, there's not much victory there. When Snape dies, they save the universe. I mean, they saved the universe from Voldemort, and Snape died sacrificing himself ultimately by protecting Harry, and it ultimately ended up working. When Sirius dies, he dies for nothing, pretty much. He dies.
All righty, Grant. 20 seconds when you start talking.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head with that. Yeah, it was tragic that, but that's just one layer. You add all the other stuff, this is up here, to the point where it affected Harry so much, and it affected us as an audience because we fell into the same trap that he did. That's why it's more tragic. It was sad to see a character that we liked come in and die. It affected Harry so much that he named one of his children after him.
All right, Nicky, do we go to the next question, or does Grant become our speed round champ?
Okay, so the thing is about Sirius Black versus Snape, which death was more tragic? The word is tragic. When Snape dies, there's victory. When Sirius dies, there's no victory. Snape dies. Harry names his child after him because he realizes after the fact that Snape was always his friend. That's not tragic. That's glorious. He sacrificed his entire life, his entire livelihood, all of his living days for Harry.
All right,
Does that
guys,
for Harry coming to it or not?
Of course not.
Judges just
because
this part of the argument.
Yeah, judges drop out the 2 words of poor Harry.
There was a bit of delay. I did stop when you stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know. My upstairs neighbor, I can hear it. He's got his gaming station going, so he's pulling a lot of the bandwidth from the building. I don't know who to go to. Let's go to Jerry. Jerry, who gets this point?
Well, as the guy who just watched the Harry Potter movies for the first time this week, I was actually really torn because both of these hit me pretty hard. So it actually came back down to the arguments, and I would go with Comic Book Lad. I couldn't see him. He came up with a lot of good points that I never saw Nicky counter.
All right, so we got Grant taking point 1. Let's go, Jonathan. Jonathan, who gets the next point?
I'm torn because I actually like both of your picks, and also you both have great, compelling arguments why you pick it is. But the thing that really sold on me is the final closing of the Comic Book Lad, because he put up a great final closing right here, and why his pick right here is sort of the best one out of it. So I had to go my point into Grant.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, and with that, and your speed round champ is the Comic Book Lad, Grant. Well, this was definitely a treat. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. I'm glad as hell nobody can hear me, and Seabrath is gonna have some fun editing this because we have like 20 minutes where we're just trying to fill time. So let's jump into our judges real quick. Amaro, what did you think of the fight?
Sorry, I'll just mute my mic for a second, guys.
That was a good fight. For the record, the question was, what was the most tragic scene in the tragic moment or tragic scene in the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have gave my point to Nicky, actually. I really liked his argument about, man, it's been so long now. His argument about the Snape's victory Snape's one isn't as tragic because it's within the victory. And that kind of took me, and I didn't really hear anything from Grant that got anything above that for me. But both of you were wrong. It was when Cedric Diggory's dad saw Cedric dying. That kills both of them. But anyway, good fight, gentlemen. I really enjoyed this, cleaning this up after everything we just experienced. I still had a good time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. This was definitely a lot of fun. Let's move over to the man to his right, Jerry. Taking out what technical problems we may have had. What did you think of the speed round fight?
I thought it was very interesting. It's my first time judging or being a part of a match that wasn't Star Wars. I loved all the arguments. You know, I disagreed with the last one. I would have put Dobby's death, but you know, that's just me personally. I think everybody did a great job, and it was very fun.
Yeah, Dobby definitely hit you in the feels. Sports brawl admin, Jonathan, what did you think of our fights?
Very good, very good. And I actually, you two put up a great job right here. After all this insanity going around here, you two really strong on right here. Both you, Nicky, and Grant right here. That you two are really the best competitors are right here around the league right now. Both your perseverance and Spartan and knowledge right here. So kudos to both of you right here for making a very good argument right. Well, not very good. A great argument right here, though. So kudos to both of you for doing it.
All right, so I am going to drop everybody backstage, and I'm going to have a little bit of conversation with Nicky first. Nicky, I know Grant can talk speed round and hit you faster. What do you have to say?
Yeah. I mean, I thought I gave good arguments. Personally, I thought I won all three of those arguments, but I guess it's one of those things where it's not just about having the best argument. It's about knowing what the judge's sensibilities are and going into my next match. That's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to try to look at who my judges are, what their sensibilities are. Because one of those things, I don't know if anybody saw Arrow Season 2 or Arrow Season 1. It's one of those things. I thought I won 2 out of the 3 of those arguments. I will admit the Doctor Who argument, that was grade A BS right there. That was just out of nowhere. And I just thought, okay, time traveler is always his own worst enemy. I took what I knew about time travelers. I've watched Doctor Who before, but I could not tell you for the life of me what any of the characters' names were. It was then I was very young. But yeah, I mean, hey, this is what we play. We have disagreements, but at the end of the day, we can all still be friends. We can all just hang out and have a good time. Thanks to everybody who was involved tonight. And I know we had some hiccups, but hey, it was a good time. I had a good time. And this was my night out for me. So I really had fun, you guys.
Right on. I actually personally had you winning one of those rounds myself. For sure, 100%. One of them I would have had you with but you know, it is what it is. And I have spoken. Yes, I dropped that line. So now we're going to jump over with our winner. Grant, what do you think, bud? You just basically knocked out 5 people.
I don't think I can take any credit for the technical issues or the stuff that's going on with everyone's family. I hope everyone's doing well. No, it was fun. I agree. I wasn't too sure how I was going to go that arrow question, because if it was just coming down to a straight, what is the best season? It's too easily. It's hard to argue against it. But I had to go with what I thought might work, and you know, it worked on that one, and that last one, I had no idea. If I lost that point, I lost that point. There was nothing that I would nothing I think I could have done any better than that one. So no, but I got a bit of luck on my side when it comes to certain things, and yeah, no, I enjoy it. That's why I love the speed rounds, because you just gotta try and fire as quick as you can, and sometimes you say the wrong thing and then you got to argue it, and like, how did I not think of bloody Dolby's? Really, I didn't even think of that. Didn't even pop into my head. So, but yeah,
You know what though? Yeah, technical aspects aside, you still played a hell of a game. I know for a fact you know what you're doing, and you're definitely going to be a powerhouse running through these leagues. And I can't wait to see what night 2 brings for you, because you and Jacob definitely both have the fastest mouths in these leagues, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody back in real quick, so we can find out where to find everybody online. I guess we will start with yourself, Mr. Comic Book Lad. Where can people find you online?
anywhere where there's good debates, and I'm either playing it, watching it, or hosting it. So yeah, just Comic Book Lad. Yeah, pretty much on all of the medias.
Alrighty. Let's go to the Arsenal. Mr. Arsenal, where can people find you?
You can find me here on TMG Entertainment doing judging and playing in matches all the time. You can also find me on my new show, Nerd Telestrator. That's Nicky Flicks on YouTube. Check me out there. Suggest what you want me, any scenes or pictures, videos you want me to break down, sportscaster style. I'll do it for you and do it for all of us. And thanks again.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Check out Nicky's page. He is definitely doing some interesting things on his page. We'll jump down below him. Jerry, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Facebook, Jeremiah Morris. I don't really do a whole lot of YouTube stuff, but hopefully we're doing more around here pretty soon.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what brings you. I personally know from the Star Wars match that you definitely have the knack for talking or having knowledge. So let's see if you can bring it to a debate. Mr. Amaru, brother, tell us, where can we find you online?
You can find me personally, Amaru Moses, on most places, Twitter, Facebook, but also YouTube. Got my own review channel, Yuri Reviews, 2 words, URI, and then reviews, RUVIEWS. Hoping to get this Candyman teaser trailer reacted to tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely want to start looking into movie reviews once I get my channel going. Again, definitely check him out at Rue Reviews. Amaro is definitely a hell of a guy. He's always been there when we need it. Then let's jump down to the man below me. That would be Jonathan Peck. Mr. Peck, where can people find you online?
People, like I kind of mentioned early on, though, tomorrow we have arguably the official day 1 of Debate Kingdom right here. We have the Sports Ball Championship match, which me, the head admin, Justice Championship match between our current champion, Sean Wansaker, versus Jacob Bless right here. We put some great questions on there. Go check it out tomorrow when it drops. And if you want to participate into the Sports Ball, go in the TMG Facebook group right here to sign up to re-sign to join back in the league. Or if you're brand new, your first time listening to this, go sign up. It's a very good competitors right here. I got a variety of questions right here. And people can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JPET1098, and also find me on Facebook around Jonathan Peck. So that's my plug.
All right, and then I guess we'll round it back to me. I am Matty G. You can find me on Facebook at Matt Graham. Twitter, I don't really use anymore, so it's not a big deal. Coming pretty soon, we're going to have the Warrior Clan YouTube page. That's going to be me and the kid. We'll be doing all kinds of fun stuff. You can find me at the admin for Game Zone. That championship between the Comic Book Lad and Jacob West will come out on day 2 of Debate Kingdom. So let's see who picks up that abandoned title. This is TMG Entertainment. We are the heart of debate. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night.
Thanks, Nico, for the idea.